In this lesson, we are going to talk about ASCII and binary representation. This is lesson 3, and for your warm-up, I want you to answer this as a submission in Schoology. The previous activity used 6 different animal symbols to represent letters. Do you think we could do the same activity with only 2 symbols instead? What would change the patterns you used yesterday? So pause the video here so that way you can go ahead and create a submission post for this question. Our question of the day is, what system do computers use to represent letters and words? Modern computers are electronic devices filled with lots of tiny wires. These wires carry electricity, and at any moment, a wire can be on or off. In fact, all the information you've ever used on a computer, like documents, videos, and pictures, eventually need to be translated down into these on and off signals. This is a really big challenge, and it's one we're going to explore for the next few lessons. So in class, you would be doing this with a partner, but if you are doing this virtually, you're going to need 3 things, or maybe just 2 things. So the ASCII text resource, which will be attached to the assignment post, and the ASCII challenges activity guide, which will also be attached to the assignment post. And you can just fill it out digitally. So we have 2 new vocabulary words for this lesson. The first one is binary system. It is a way of representing information using only 2 options. That's what the word binary means. Bi means 2. And then the other word is ASCII, A-S-C-I-I. It is actually an abbreviation, but we pronounce it ASCII for short. It is a popular system for representing text in binary. So read the first 2 paragraphs on the ASCII text resource. It says, in order to input, output, store, and process information, computers need to represent it first. Engineers used the tools they had at hand, which were wires carrying electricity. It's easy to tell if a wire does or doesn't have electricity flowing through it, so engineers needed a system based on just 2 states of electricity, on or off. Since the system can only represent 2 states of information, it is called a binary system. There are many possible binary systems for representing letters, but the most popular is called ASCII. You can see the way patterns of ons and offs represent each letter in the table below. And that's the ASCII table. Here are our vocabulary words, and then here is another example of the table that you're going to get on that resource guide. So now you're going to complete the ASCII challenges. This is our activity guide. In each of the challenges, the ASCII system has been used to represent a secret message. Luckily, you know the ASCII system, so you're going to be able to decode the messages. Each challenge is representing the letters in a different way though. So you're going to pause the video here so that you can complete the activity guide, and you're going to submit that. For our wrap-up, all of these are valid binary systems that we have used, where we can represent letters with just 2 pieces of information. Computers have their own binary system. They use zeros and ones to represent information. This is why you may have heard that computer science is all zeros and ones. When you have a single 0 or 1, that is called 1 bit of information. So what symbols did you use for your binary system? We would share this out in class, but since you're not going to be in class, you can ignore this and are going back over our key vocabulary for this lesson. We have binary system and ASCII. And a new one that is not on here, which is bit, which is a single piece of binary information. So we saw bits of information represented in many ways today, like dogs or cats or apples and bananas. These are all equally valid ways of representing ons and offs. Going forward, we will use ones and zeros, but this just means on and off. So our question of the day, what system do computers use to represent letters and words? And the answer to that is ASCII, or binary systems. If you have any questions, please let me know. You're going to submit the completed activity guide and a response to the warm-up journal.